They said it was impossible. They said a kid from the South Side didn't belong on a stage like this. But tonight, as the spotlight burns brighter than the sun, I can still hear their laughter. It's the kind of laughter that cuts deeper than words, the kind that makes you question everything you've ever dreamed of. But tonight, I'm not just a kid from the South Side. Tonight, I'm the star they never saw coming. Asterisk. To understand how I got here, you have to go back to where it all began. Back to the day they laughed at the black kid's dream. Back to the South Side, where the streets were paved with broken promises and the air smelled like hope and despair all at once. Back to the moment I realized that dreams don't come easy, not for people like me. Asterisk. I was 12 years old when I first touched a piano. It was old, out of tune, and missing a few keys. But to me, it was perfect. I remember the way the dust sparkled in the sunlight as I lifted the lid, the way the keys felt under my fingers, cold at first, but warming up with every note. That piano became my escape, my sanctuary. It was the only thing that made sense in a world that didn't. Asterisk. But not everyone saw it that way. To them, I was just a kid with big dreams and no future. I remember the day I told my teacher, Mrs. Thompson, that I wanted to be a musician. She looked at me with this pity in her eyes, like I just told her I wanted to fly to the moon. "That's nice, Marcus," she said, "but maybe you should think about something more realistic." Realistic, like being a janitor or a factory worker, like staying in my place. Asterisk. And then there were the kids at school. They didn't just laugh at me. They made sure I knew I didn't belong. "You think you're special," they'd say. "You think you're gonna be some big star? Dream on, kid." And I did. I dreamed every single day. But dreams don't pay the bills, and they don't stop the laughter. They just keep you going when everything else tries to pull you down. Asterisk. The first time I played in front of an audience, I was 13. It was a school talent show, and I'd practiced for weeks. I remember the way my heart pounded as I walked onto the stage, the way the spotlight felt like it was burning a hole through my skin. I sat down at the piano, took a deep breath, and started to play. And then I heard it, the laughter. It started as a whisper, but it grew louder, drowning out the music, drowning out me. I kept playing, but my hands were shaking so badly I could barely hit the right keys. When I finished, there was silence. No applause, no cheers, just silence. And then someone shouted, "Stick to basketball, kid." And the laughter started all over again. Asterisk. That was the moment I realized something. The world doesn't care about your dreams, not unless you make them care. And that's exactly what I decided to do. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't quick. And it sure as hell wasn't pretty. But it was worth it. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, it was all worth it. Because tonight, as I stand on this stage, I'm not just a kid from the South Side. Tonight, I'm a star. And this is my story. Asterisk. The South Side wasn't just a place. It was a feeling. The kind of feeling that clung to your skin, heavy and unshakable. It was the sound of sirens at night, the smell of fried chicken from Mama's kitchen, and the hum of the old piano in the corner of our living room. That piano was my escape. It was the only thing that made sense in a world that didn't. Asterisk. I grew up in a small house on 63rd Street, where the walls were thin and the dreams were thinner. My mama worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on, and my older brother, Jamal, was always out on the streets, doing things I didn't like to think about. But me? I stayed inside, lost in the music. That piano was my world, and in that world I was free. Asterisk. Mama used to say I had a gift. "You got something special, Marcus," she'd tell me, her voice soft but firm. "Don't let nobody take that away from you." But it wasn't always easy to believe her. Not when the bills were piling up and the fridge was empty. Not when the kids at school called me piano boy, like it was some kind of insult. Not when even my own brother told me to stop wasting my time on something that would never pay off. Asterisk. But I couldn't stop. The music was in me, like a second heartbeat. I'd play for hours, losing myself in the melodies, imagining myself on a big stage somewhere, far away from the south side. I'd close my eyes and picture the crowd, the lights, the applause. It was my dream, and I held on to it tight, even when it felt like the whole world was trying to pull it away from me. Asterisk. School was its own kind of battlefield. I wasn't like the other kids. I didn't care about sports or hanging out on the corner. I just wanted to play. But that made me a target. "Why you always messing with that piano, Marcus?" they'd say. "You think you're better than us." I didn't think I was better. I just knew I was different. And in a place like the South Side, different wasn't always a good thing. Asterisk. But there were moments of light too. Like when Mama would come home from work, tired and worn out, and sit down next to me while I played. She'd close her eyes and smile, and for a little while, it felt like everything was going to be okay. Or when my best friend, Tasha, would come over and listen to me practice. She was the only one who really understood. "You're gonna make it, Marcus," she'd say. "I don't know how, but I know you will." Her belief in me kept me going, even when I didn't believe in myself. Asterisk. Then there was Mr. Carter, the old man who ran the corner store. He used to let me play the old upright piano he kept in the back room. It was even more beat up than ours at home, but I didn't care. To me, it was perfect. Mr. Carter would sit and listen, his eyes closed, a faint smile on his face. "You got soul, kid," he'd say. "Don't ever let nobody take that away from you." Asterisk. But for every person who believed in me, there were 10 who didn't. Like my teacher, Mrs. Thompson, who told me I should focus on something more practical. Or the kids at school who laughed when I said I wanted to be a musician. Or Jamal, who thought I was wasting my time. "You gotta face reality, Marcus," he'd say. "Ain't nobody from the South Side gonna make it big. Not in music, not in anything." Asterisk. I wanted to prove him wrong. I wanted to prove all of them wrong. But it wasn't easy. Every time I thought I was getting closer to my dream, something would pull me back. Like the time I tried to enter a local talent show, only to find out I couldn't afford the entry fee. Or the time I got accepted to a music program downtown, but Mama couldn't take time off work to drive me. It felt like the universe was against me, like it was testing me to see how much I could take. Asterisk, but I kept going, because I didn't know how to stop, because the music was the only thing that made me feel alive, and because deep down I believed, I had to believe, that one day, all the struggle would be worth it. One day, I'd find my way out of the South Side and onto that big stage I'd been dreaming about. One day, I'd show them all that a kid from the South Side could be a star. Asterisk, but before I could do that, I had to survive. And survival wasn't easy. Not in a place where dreams were as fragile as glass and just as likely to shatter. Not in a world that didn't care about a black kid's dream. But I was determined. I had to be. Because giving up wasn't an option. Not for me. Not for my dream. Asterisk. It was supposed to be my big break. The kind of moment I'd been dreaming about since I was a kid. A chance to prove to everyone, to myself, that I wasn't just some kid from the South Side with a stupid dream. But life doesn't always go the way you plan. And sometimes, the thing you think is your big break turns out to be the thing that breaks you. Asterisk. It started with a flyer. I found it taped to the window of Mr. Carter's store. Citywide talent show. It said, first prize, $5,000 and a chance to perform at the annual Summer Music Festival. My heart raced as I read the words. This was it. This was my chance. But then I saw the entry fee. $50. It might as well have been $5,000. There was no way I could afford that. Not with Mama working 2 jobs, just to keep the lights on. Not with Jamal always needing money, for one thing or another. I folded the flyer and shoved it in my pocket, trying to push the disappointment out of my mind. But it stayed there, like a rock in my stomach. Asterisk. I didn't tell anyone about the flyer. Not Mama, not Tasha, not even Mr. Carter. What was the point? It wasn't like I could magically come up with $50, but the thought of it wouldn't leave me alone. I'd lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, imagining what it would feel like to stand on that stage, to hear the crowd cheering, to know that I'd finally made it. And then I'd remember the entry fee, and the dream would slip through my fingers like sand. Asterisk. A week later, something happened that changed everything. I was walking home from school, lost in thought, when I heard someone call my name. I turned around and saw Tasha running toward me, her face flushed with excitement. "Marcus, you're not going to believe this," she said, holding out her phone. "Look." It was a video of a guy playing piano in the subway. He was amazing, his fingers flying over the keys. The crowd gathered around him, tossing money into his hat. "You could do this," Tasha said. "You're better than him, Marcus. You could make enough money for the talent show in one day." Asterisk. I didn't know what to say. The idea of playing in public, in front of strangers, made my stomach twist into knots. But Tasha was right. This was my only shot, so I swallowed my fear and said yes. The next day, after school, we took the train downtown. I brought my keyboard, the one Mama had saved up for months to buy me. It wasn't much, but it was mine. Tasha carried the case, and I carried the stand, trying to ignore the stares of the people around us. When we got to the station, I sat up in a corner, took a deep breath, and started to play. Asterisk. At first, no one noticed. People rushed by, too busy to stop, too distracted to care. But then, slowly, a few people started to gather. A man in a suit paused to listen, then dropped $1 into the hat Tasha had placed on the ground. A woman with a baby stroller smiled and clapped when I finished a song. And then, as if by magic, more people stopped. They listened. They smiled. They threw money into the hat. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Asterisk, but it didn't last. I was halfway through my third song when I heard the shouting. "Hey, you can't do that here." I looked up and saw a security guard pushing his way through the crowd. My heart sank. "You need a permit to play in the station," he said, his voice harsh. "Pack it up, kid." I wanted to argue, to beg for just 5 more minutes, but the look on his face told me it was no use. I packed up my keyboard, my hands shaking, and followed Tasha out of the station. The hat was still on the ground, forgotten in the chaos. We didn't even get to count the money. Asterisk. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling like the world was against me. But then I remembered something Mama used to say. When one door closes, another one opens. You just gotta keep knocking. So I did. The next day, I went back to the subway. And the day after that. And the day after that. Sometimes I made money. Sometimes I didn't. But I kept playing. Because I didn't know how to stop. Asterisk. And then one day, something incredible happened. I was playing my heart out, lost in the music, when I noticed a man standing at the edge of the crowd. He was older, with gray hair and a sharp suit, and he was watching me with an intensity that made my skin prickle. When I finished the song, he stepped forward and handed me a business card. "My name is Victor Langston," he said. "I'm a producer. I think you've got something special, kid. Call me." And just like that, he was gone, disappearing into the crowd like a ghost. Asterisk. I stared at the card, my heart pounding. Victor Langston. The name sounded familiar, but I couldn't place it. Tasha grabbed my arm, her eyes wide with excitement. "Marcus, this is it. This is your big break." But I wasn't so sure. Something about the way he'd looked at me, the way he'd spoken, made me uneasy. But I didn't have time to think about it. The security guard was back, and we had to run. Asterisk. That night, I called the number on the card. Victor answered on the first ring. "Marcus," he said, like he'd been expecting me. "I want to help you, but you're going to have to trust me." I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I could trust him, but I didn't have a choice. This was my chance, my only chance. So I said yes. Asterisk. Looking back, I should have known better. I should have seen the red flags. But I was desperate, and desperation makes you do stupid things. Victor set up a meeting at his office downtown. It was in a fancy building with marble floors and gold elevators, the kind of place I'd only seen in movies. He sat me down in a leather chair and laid out his plan. "I'm gonna make you a star, Marcus," he said. "But it's gonna take work. And it's gonna take money." Asterisk. Asterisk. I should have walked out then. I should have listened to the voice in my head that told me something wasn't right. But I didn't. I signed the contract he put in front of me, my hands shaking, my heart racing. And just like that, I was his. Asterisk. Asterisk. At first, everything seemed perfect. Victor set me up with a new keyboard, a studio to practice in, even a few small gigs. I felt like I was finally on my way. But then the bills started coming. Studio time, equipment rentals, travel expenses. The numbers added up fast, and before I knew it, I was in over my head. "Don't worry," Victor said. "It's an investment. You'll pay it back when you make it big." But the bigger the debt grew, the smaller my chances of making it big seemed. Asterisk. Asterisk. And then, one day, Victor dropped a bomb. "I've got a deal for you," he said. "A real opportunity, but it's going to require some flexibility." He explained that he wanted me to change my sound, to make it more commercial. Less soul, more pop. Less me, more them. I didn't know what to say. This wasn't what I'd signed up for. This wasn't my dream. But Victor didn't care. "This is the business, kid," he said. "You want to make it? You got to play the game." Asterisk. Asterisk. I left his office that day feeling like I'd sold my soul. And maybe I had. But what choice did I have? I was in too deep to walk away. So I did what he asked. I changed my sound. I played the game. And slowly, piece by piece, I started to lose myself. Asterisk. Asterisk. But the worst was yet to come. Because Victor wasn't just a producer. He was a predator. And I was his latest prey. Asterisk. Asterisk. I told myself it was temporary. That I was doing what I had to do to make it. But deep down, I knew the truth. I was losing myself. Piece by piece, note by note, I was becoming someone I didn't recognize. And the worst part? I didn't know how to stop. Asterisk. Asterisk. Victor's plan was simple. Erase Marcus from the South Side and replace him with the MC, the shiny new pop sensation. He wanted me to be marketable, palatable, safe. "People don't want real Marcus," he said. "They want easy. They want fun. Give them that, and they'll love you." So I did. I traded my soulful melodies for catchy hooks, my heartfelt lyrics for empty rhymes. I even dyed my hair and started wearing clothes that felt like a costume, and the world ate it up. Asterisk. Asterisk. At first, it was thrilling. The gigs got bigger, the crowds got louder, and the money started rolling in. I paid off my debt to Victor, bought Mama a new fridge, and even got Jamal out of a few tight spots. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was winning. But the higher I climbed, the emptier I felt. Because this wasn't me. This wasn't my dream. This was Victor's dream, and I was just the puppet he used to make it come true. Asterisk. Asterisk. The breaking point came at my first big show. It was a sold-out venue, thousands of people screaming my name, or the name Victor had given me. MC. 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 I stood backstage, my heart pounding, my hands sweating, trying to remember who I was supposed to be. Victor slapped me on the back, his grin wide and predatory. "Knock him dead, kid," he said, and then he pushed me out into the spotlight. Asterisk. Asterisk. The lights were blinding, the noise deafening. I sat down at the piano, my fingers hovering over the keys, and for a moment I froze. I didn't know what to play. The songs Victor had chosen felt wrong, like wearing someone else's skin. But the crowd was waiting, their cheers turning to murmurs, and I didn't have a choice. I started to play. The crowd went wild, but all I could hear was the hollowness of the music, the emptiness of the moment. I was a fraud, and I knew it. Asterisk. Asterisk. After the show, Victor was ecstatic. "You killed a kid," he said, slinging an arm around my shoulders. "This is just the beginning." But I didn't feel like celebrating. I felt like I'd sold a piece of my soul. And I had, because that night, as I lay in my hotel room, staring at the ceiling, I realized something. I didn't know who I was anymore. The kid from the South Side, the one who played piano to escape, the one who dreamed of making it big. He was gone, and in his place was MC, a hollow shell of a person, a character in Victor's twisted game. Asterisk. Asterisk. I tried to talk to Victor about it. I want to go back to my roots, I said. I want to play real music again. But he just laughed. Real music doesn't sell, Marcus, he said. You want to go back to playing in subways for pocket change? Be my guest. But if you want to be a star, you got to play by my rules. And just like that, the door slammed shut. I was trapped. Asterisk. Asterisk. The next few months were a blur. Shows, interviews, photo shoots. Victor kept me busy. Too busy to think. Too busy to feel. But the cracks were starting to show. I catch myself staring at the piano, my fingers itching to play something real, something true. But every time I tried, Victor was there, watching, waiting, ready to shut me down. Stick to the script, Marcus, he'd say. Don't mess this up. Asterisk. Asterisk. And then there were the rumors. Whispers about Victor, about the way he treated his artists, about the deals he made behind closed doors. I tried to ignore them, to tell myself it was just gossip. But the more I saw, the harder it was to deny the truth. Victor wasn't just a producer. He was a predator, and I was his latest victim. Asterisk. Asterisk. The final straw came at a party. It was one of Victor's infamous industry events, where the rich and powerful gathered to schmooze and scheme. I hated these things, but Victor insisted I go. Networking, Marcus, he said. It's all part of the game. So I went, plastering on a smile and shaking hands with people who didn't care about me, who only saw me as a product, a commodity. Asterisk. Asterisk. I was standing by the bar, nursing a drink I didn't want, when I overheard a conversation. Two men, both in sharp suits, both with cruel smiles, were talking about Victor. He's got a new one of them said. Kid from the South Side. Thinks he's gonna be a star. The other man laughed. Yeah, until Victor's done with him. You know how he operates. Build him up, bleed him dry, toss him aside. My blood ran cold. Is that what I was? Just another pawn in Victor's game? Another victim to be used and discarded? Asterisk. Asterisk. I wanted to confront him, to demand the truth. But I didn't. I couldn't. Because the truth was, I was scared. Scared of Victor. Scared of losing everything I'd worked for. Scared of going back to the South Side, with nothing to show for it. So I stayed silent. I played my part. And every night, I'd lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering how much of myself I'd have to lose before there was nothing left. Asterisk. Asterisk. But then, something happened that changed everything. I got a call from Tasha. She'd been trying to reach me for weeks, but Victor had been screening my calls, keeping me isolated. When I finally answered, her voice was frantic. Marcus, you need to come home, she said. It's Jamal. He's in trouble. My heart stopped. What kind of trouble? I asked, but she didn't answer. She didn't have to. I already knew. Asterisk. Asterisk. I went to Victor, told him I needed to go home. He didn't like it. You've got a show tomorrow, Marcus, he said. You can't just leave. But for the first time in months, I stood my ground. This is my family, I said. I'm going. Victor's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, I thought he was going to stop me. But then he smiled, that cold, calculating smile that made my skin crawl. Fine, he said. But don't forget who got you here, Marcus. Don't forget what's at stake. Asterisk. Asterisk. I didn't forget. How could I? But as I boarded the train back to the South Side, I realized something. I didn't care. Not about Victor. Not about the fame. Not about the money. All I cared about was my family. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like myself again. Asterisk. Asterisk. But the South Side wasn't the same. It was darker, heavier, like the weight of the world had settled over it. And Jamal. Jamal was worse. He'd gotten mixed up with the wrong people, done things he couldn't take back. When I saw him, he looked like a ghost of the brother I'd known. I messed up, Marcus, he said, his voice hollow. I messed up bad. Asterisk. Asterisk. I wanted to help him, to fix things, but I didn't know how. I was just as lost as he was. And as I sat there, listening to him pour out his regrets, I realized something. I couldn't save him. Not unless I saved myself first. Asterisk. Asterisk. That night, I sat down at the old piano in our living room. It was dusty and out of tune, but it felt like home. I closed my eyes and let my fingers find the keys. And for the first time in months, I played. Not for Victor, not for the crowd, but for me. The music was raw, imperfect, real. And in that moment, I remembered who I was. I was Marcus, the kid from the South Side, the one who dreamed of making it big, the one who refused to give up. Asterisk. Asterisk. But the fight wasn't over. Not even close. Because Victor wasn't going to let me go that easily. And neither was the world. But for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had a chance. A chance to take back my dream. A chance to be myself again. A chance to fight. Asterisk. Asterisk. And fight I would. Asterisk. Asterisk. The moment of truth always comes when you least expect it. For me, it came on a cold, rainy night in the middle of nowhere. I was standing backstage at the biggest show of my career, my heart pounding, my hands trembling, and I realized something. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go out there and be MC one more time. Not after everything I'd been through. Not after everything I'd lost. Asterisk. Asterisk. It had been weeks since I'd left the South Side. Weeks since I'd seen Jamal and Tasha. Weeks since I'd played the piano, for no one but myself. Victor had pulled me back into his world, his schedule, his demands. "You've got a contract, Marcus," he'd said, his voice cold and final. "You don't get to walk away." And so I'd stayed, playing the part, singing the songs, wearing the mask. But the mask was cracking, and so was I. Asterisk. Asterisk. The show was supposed to be my crowning moment. A live performance broadcast to millions, the kind of opportunity most artists only dream of. But as I stood there, listening to the crowd chant my name, or the name Victor had given me, I felt nothing but dread. Because this wasn't me. This wasn't my dream. This was Victor's dream. And I was done living someone else's dream. Asterisk. Asterisk. I turned to Victor, who was standing in the shadows, watching me with that cold, calculating smile. "I can't do this," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He stepped closer, his eyes narrowing. "What did you say?" I took a deep breath, my heart racing, and said it again. "I can't do this. Not like this. Not anymore." Asterisk. Asterisk. For a moment, he just stared at me, his expression unreadable. And then he laughed. A sharp, bitter laugh that sent a chill down my spine. "You think you have a choice, Marcus," he said. "You think you can just walk away. You're nothing without me. Nothing." His words hit me like a punch to the gut, but I didn't back down. "Maybe I am nothing," I said, "but at least I'll be nothing on my own terms." Asterisk. Asterisk. Victor's smile vanished, replaced by a look of pure rage. "You'll regret this," he spat. "You'll regret it for the rest of your life." And then he turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, alone in the shadows, with the weight of the world on my shoulders. Asterisk. Asterisk. I didn't have much time to think. The stage manager was already signaling for me to go on. I took a deep breath, my mind racing, and made a decision. I wasn't going to be MC tonight. I was going to be Marcus, the kid from the South Side, the one who dreamed of making it big, the one who refused to give up. Asterisk. Asterisk. I walked out onto the stage, the spotlight blinding, the crowd roaring. I sat down at the piano, my fingers hovering over the keys, and for a moment I froze. What was I doing? This wasn't part of the plan. This wasn't what Victor wanted. But then I remembered something Mama used to say. The only person you owe anything to is yourself. And I knew what I had to do. Asterisk. Asterisk. I started to play. Not the pop anthem Victor had chosen, but something real, something true. A melody I'd written years ago, back when the piano was my escape, my sanctuary. The crowd fell silent, their cheers turning to murmurs, and for a moment, I thought I'd made a mistake. But then something incredible happened. They started to listen, really listen, and as the music filled the air, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: freedom. Asterisk. Asterisk. The song was raw, imperfect, real. It wasn't polished or marketable or safe. It was me. And as I played, I poured everything I had into it. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, every ounce of hope. And when I finished, there was silence. A deep, heavy silence that seemed to stretch on forever. And then, slowly, the applause began. It started as a ripple, then grew into a wave, crashing over me like a tidal wave. I stood up, my legs shaking, and looked out at the crowd. They were on their feet, cheering, crying, screaming my name. Not MC Marcus. Asterisk. Asterisk backstage. Victor was waiting. His face was a mask of fury, his eyes blazing. "You're done," he said, his voice low and dangerous. "You'll never work in this industry again." I didn't say anything. I didn't have to, because in that moment I realized something. I didn't care. I didn't care about the fame, the money, the industry. All I cared about was the music, and as long as I had that, I knew I'd be okay. Asterisk. Asterisk. But the fight wasn't over. Not even close. Because Victor wasn't the kind of man who let things go. And as I walked away from the stage, from the crowd, from the life I'd built, I knew he'd come after me. He'd try to destroy me, to take everything I had left. But I wasn't scared. Not anymore. Because I had something he could never take away, my voice. And I was going to use it. Asterisk. Asterisk. The next few weeks were a blur. I went back to the South Side, back to Mama, back to Tasha, back to Jamal. It wasn't easy. Jamal was still struggling, still lost, and I didn't know how to help him. But I was there, and for the first time in a long time, that was enough. Asterisk. Asterisk. I started playing again. Not for Victor, not for the crowd, but for me. I'd sit at the old piano in our living room, my fingers finding the keys, and I'd lose myself in the music. And slowly, piece by piece, I started to find myself again. Asterisk. Asterisk. But Victor wasn't done with me. He'd made sure of that. The industry blacklisted me. The press crucified me. And the fans turned on me. MC is a fraud, they said. He's washed up. He's done. And maybe they were right. Maybe I was done, but not in the way they thought. Asterisk. Asterisk. I started small, playing in local bars, open mics, anywhere that would have me. It wasn't glamorous, but it was real. And the people who came to listen, they didn't care about the fame or the money. They cared about the music. And so did I. Asterisk. Asterisk. And then, one night, something incredible happened. I was playing at a tiny club downtown, pouring my heart into every note, when I noticed a man sitting at the back of the room. He was older, with gray hair and a kind smile, and he was watching me with an intensity that made my skin prickle. When I finished my set, he came up to me and handed me a card. "My name is Elijah Grant," he said. "I'm a producer. I think you've got something special, kid. Call me." And just like that, he was gone. Asterisk. Asterisk. I didn't call him right away. I was scared, unsure, still carrying the scars of my time with Victor. But Tasha convinced me to take the chance. "This is your moment, Marcus," she said. "Don't let fear hold you back." So I called him, and that call changed everything. Asterisk. Asterisk. Elijah wasn't like Victor. He didn't want to change me, to mold me into something I wasn't. He wanted to help me find my voice, to tell my story. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had a partner, not a predator. Asterisk. Asterisk. We started working together, slowly, carefully, building something real. And as the music came together, so did I. I wasn't MC anymore. I was Marcus, and I was finally ready to share my story with the world. Asterisk. Asterisk. But the fight wasn't over. Not even close. Because Victor wasn't going to let me go that easily. And neither was the world. But for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had a chance. A chance to take back my dream. A chance to be myself again. A chance to fight. Asterisk. Asterisk. And fight I would. Asterisk. Asterisk. They say success is the best revenge. But it's not. Not really. Success is just a byproduct of something much deeper, much harder to define. It's the quiet moments, the ones no one sees, where you realize you've finally become the person you were always meant to be. For me, that moment came on a stage much smaller than the ones I'd dreamed of as a kid, but it was mine, and that made all the difference. Asterisk, asterisk, it had been a year since I walked away from Victor, a year since I'd reclaimed my name, my music, my life. It wasn't easy. There were days when I doubted myself, when the weight of everything I'd lost felt too heavy to carry. But I kept going, because I didn't know how to stop, because the music was still in me, still calling me, still reminding me of who I was. Asterisk, asterisk, with Elijah's help, I'd started to rebuild. We released an album, not as MC, but as Marcus. It was raw, honest, and unapologetically me. The critics didn't know what to make of it. Too real, they said. Too personal. But the people, the ones who mattered, they got it. They understood. And slowly, piece by piece, I started to find my audience. Not the screaming fans who chanted MC's name, but the quiet listeners who'd been waiting for something real. Asterisk, asterisk, the night of my first solo show, I stood backstage, my heart pounding, my hands trembling. It wasn't a big venue, just a small club downtown, but it felt like the most important night of my life, because this was it. This was my chance to prove to myself, to the world, that I was more than a puppet, more than a product. I was Marcus, and I was enough. Asterisk, asterisk, I walked out onto the stage, the spotlight warm but not blinding, the crowd small but attentive. I sat down at the piano, my fingers finding the keys, and for a moment, I just breathed. And then I started to play. Not the polished pop anthems Victor had forced on me, but the songs I'd written in the quiet moments, the ones that came from my heart. The crowd listened, really listened, and as the music filled the room, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, peace. Asterisk, asterisk, when the show ended, the applause was deafening. Not because there were thousands of people, but because every single one of them meant it. They weren't just clapping for the music. They were clapping for me, for my story, for my journey. And as I stood there, taking it all in, I realized something. This was my dream. Not the fame, not the money, but this. The connection, the honesty, the freedom to be myself. Asterisk, asterisk, after the show, I found Tasha waiting for me backstage. She was smiling, her eyes shining with pride. "You did it, Marcus," she said. "You really did it." I pulled her into a hug, my heart swelling with gratitude. She'd been there from the beginning, through every high and every low, and I knew I wouldn't have made it without her. Asterisk, asterisk, Jamal was there too, standing in the shadows, his hands in his pockets. He looked different, lighter, somehow, like a weight had been lifted. "You were amazing, little brother," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "I'm proud of you." I didn't know what to say. For so long, I'd looked up to him, wanted to make him proud. And now, standing there, hearing those words, I realized something. I was proud of him too. Proud of how far he'd come, of the man he was becoming. Asterisk, asterisk, Mama was the last to find me. She didn't say much, she never did. But the look in her eyes said everything. "You did good, baby," she said, pulling me into a tight hug. "You did real good." And in that moment, I felt like a kid again, safe and loved and whole. Asterisk, asterisk, but the journey wasn't over. Not even close. Because life isn't a fairy tale, and happily ever after isn't a destination, it's a choice. A choice to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep believing in yourself even when the world tries to tear you down. Asterisk, asterisk, Victor didn't go quietly. He tried to sabotage me, to tarnish my name, to drag me back into his world. But I didn't let him. I fought back, not with anger or revenge, but with truth. I told my story, not to hurt him, but to free myself. And in the end, that was enough. Because the truth has a way of shining through, no matter how hard someone tries to bury it. Asterisk, asterisk, the industry didn't change. It was still cutthroat, still cruel, still obsessed with image over substance. But I didn't need it to change. I'd found my place, my people, my purpose. And that was enough. Asterisk, asterisk, as the months turned into years, I kept playing, kept writing, kept telling my story. And slowly, the world started to listen. Not because I was chasing fame, but because I was chasing something much more important: authenticity. And in a world full of noise, that's what people were hungry for. Not perfection, not polish, but real, raw, unfiltered truth. Asterisk, asterisk, I never forgot where I came from. The South Side was still a part of me, still in my blood, still in my music. And I made sure to give back, to lift up the kids who were just like me, the ones with big dreams and no one to believe in them. I started a foundation, a music program for kids in underserved communities, and every time I saw their faces light up as they played, I remembered why I'd started this journey in the first place. Asterisk, asterisk, looking back, I can see how far I've come. From the kid who played on an old, out-of-tune piano in a dusty living room to the man who stood on stages around the world, sharing his story, his music, his truth. But the journey wasn't about the destination. It was about the moments in between. The moments of doubt, of fear, of triumph. The moments that shaped me, that made me who I am. Asterisk, asterisk, and now, as I sit here, writing these words, I realize something. The dream wasn't about becoming a star. It was about becoming myself. And in the end, that's the only dream that matters. Asterisk, asterisk, so to anyone out there who's been told they're not enough, who's been laughed at, doubted, or dismissed, I want you to know this. Your dream matters. Your voice matters. And no matter how hard the journey gets, no matter how many times you fall, you have to keep going. Because the world needs your story. The world needs you. Asterisk, asterisk, and one day, when you're standing on your own stage, looking out at the crowd, you'll realize something. The laughter, the doubt, the struggle, it was all worth it, because it led you here, to this moment, to yourself. Asterisk, asterisk, and that's the greatest victory of all. Asterisk,